It's a little after 4 here on Sports Radio 950 KJR and 102.9 FM. We have with us Sean Tarantola from Juanita High School. Sean, is this your 4th year at Juanita?
Yes, it was, Scott. It's my 4th year, getting ready for the 5th. Time flies.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. Now, you were down at Evergreen as a head coach down there, took them to the state playoffs a couple years. You have a guy who's going to be drafted, hopefully, later in April, and he was on TV today, Senio Calamite. Talk to me about your experience with him and what he was like to coach as a freshman through his senior year.
Well, what's fun about Senio is the growth that he had from his freshman year to his senior year was so dramatic, and he was an exciting player. About halfway through his junior year, he realized his potential, and he really just gained confidence in his abilities, and after that, it was over. And what's fun about Senio is, he was an offensive lineman and defensive lineman for us, but he really had probably more of an impact on the game than any player I've coached. I mean, he would dominate games and take them over. I remember our last year at Evergreen, we played Kennedy, and it was kind of a big rival for our school. And Senio and Everett Thompson kind of had a nice little rivalry between the two of them. And Senio just, he just was a machine that game. And really, I've never seen a more dominant performance by defensive lineman than he had in that game.
But you said that he played offensive, defensive lineman, but you actually lined him up at linebacker in that game.
Yeah, we did. We had a front that we called stack, and we shifted down into a 3-man front, and we took our strong side defensive end, which was Senio, and played him right behind the nose. And, so he was basically a linebacker. And I'll tell you what, there's not many centers in high school football that like to have a 6'4", 250-pound, 260-pound, monster like Senio stand right over them and come in every play. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to coach that kid.
Now, you've had some other guys come through. One is, I always forget who, Corey LaFosse, I believe, is the one that went to Army, and then he walked on at Washington State.
Yep.
Has had a pretty good productive career there as a walk-on. And then you also had Luther Leonard at the University of Washington, who came as a quarterback. They changed him to wide receiver and didn't really ever see the field. But Coach Doherty said that he was a young man who they really liked a lot from his work ethic and how he approached the game and practice.
Yeah, Luther, what's fun about Luther is he really just had fun playing football. A lot of guys get caught up, in high school and in college. Even for that matter, in high school, it's all about getting a scholarship. If you're a good high school player, a lot of kids these days are just like, man, I got to get a scholarship. And they focus so much on getting a scholarship, it takes away from that high school experience. And then they get into college, and it's the same thing. I got to play, I got to get in the NFL, and sometimes they lose out. It becomes more of a business than the true enjoyment of playing the game. And Luther just always had fun playing football, and I don't think that changed at UW, even though his role was different. He still just enjoyed the experience and enjoyed everything that came into playing the game and getting that opportunity to compete at the highest level.
Now, you've got one player who's at the University of Washington that you coached at Juanita. His name is Jarrett Finau. He has turned into an absolute monster. He's about 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 275 pounds right now. Just looks outstanding athletically. What were your impressions of him when he was at Juanita, and have you talked to him recently and how he's feeling about things?
Oh, yes. Well, first, Jarrett just played with a high motor. He was big, strong, and physical, and he played fast. He played full speed, and, when he went loose, it was just full speed ahead, and he just caused problems in high school. Watching him grow in college has been really exciting because, I really think that kid is a kid that's got NFL potential written all over him, just like Senio, and just kind of plant that motor. He does some things very well when it comes to defense side of the ball and just playing physical. Now, something exciting, we have a younger Finau coming up that's going to be a 9th grader next year.
Yeah.
His little brother, Paul Finau, he came to camp with us as an 8th grader, played with our 9th grade team or the junior high team. He was 5'9", probably about 190 pounds this summer. I just saw him the other day. He's going to be a 9th grader at Juanita next year. He's 6'1", probably about 220, and he's got size 17 feet. And so we're excited. His parents are saying he's got he's probably got more ability than Jarrett had at his age as an 8th grader. And so we're like, okay, bring him on. We're excited about his future. But Jarrett was awesome to coach, and it's going to be fun to watch him do big things at UW.
Now, Sean, you talk about the fact that he's going to be a 9th grader playing for you. Is this the first year or second year that there will be 9th graders?
This will be the first year.
Okay.
So we're going to, at Juanita High School, is going to actually get, we're going to have double, 2 classes coming in next year that, were in junior high last year. So it's a pretty exciting time for Juanita High School altogether, for everything, as far as the school culture and athletics especially.
Okay. Now, you have a young man who's going to be enrolling at Washington from this past class, Nathan Dean. And I got to tell you what Nathan said about you. He said he loved you and thought you were the best coach he could have had and asked for. But when we asked him if we walked out on a field and saw Sean Tarantola, would we think he was a coach? He didn't think you would.
Yes. You know what? I heard that. In fact, I get that a lot. So it's kind of come with the territory. Something I've gotten used to. But
now you're a dad, so you got to start looking older, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I think it's starting to happen. I feel my body breaking down at least. So the first part's coming along.
Yeah, and the gray hair will come because you got a daughter, right?
I have one daughter, Olivia, who's 16 months, and check this out. I got another daughter on the way.
Oh,
she's gonna be born in a couple of weeks. So yeah,
you're gonna have gray hair galore. You're gonna have a lot of gray hair. But seriously though, talk to me about Nathan. What he brings to it. I love the fact how physical he is at the point of attack. And I don't think he's even close to maxing out his potential.
No, I agree 100% when it comes to not even close to maxing out his potential. He's a late bloomer in the fact that, he's always been a big kid and he's always been a good athlete, but things are kind of coming together for him mentally and physically. And, he's got something where he just he didn't grow up playing football, but he understands the game. He picks things up very quickly. He's a very smart player, and he's pretty crafty. He kind of knows what he's good at and knows how to compensate for some of his weaknesses within, the framework of a game. And he's going to be a really smart player with a bright future, great feet, great athleticism. And, he's working, he's 100% committed to football, and he's been working really hard. He's been coming to our morning workout still, doing a workout that is similar to something that the guys are doing for the University of Washington, I believe, and he's very dedicated right now, and he's very focused. So we're real excited to see what he can do. I think he is going to have a great future as well.
And give us an idea of what he does really well on the football field.
Well, anything that has to deal with athleticism. If he can block guys in space, so for UW and their zone blocking scheme, I think he's going to be really good at, getting off combo blocks and getting off double teams and getting to second level, third level linebackers. His pass pro, although unfortunately we didn't pass as much throughout his career that we wanted to, that we would like to, but he really has, I think, good feet and good frame for pass protection. And with him, he definitely had the most responsibility as far as what we asked him to do within our passing game. We asked him to do a couple of things, and so I think he's just, the thing, sometimes guys just do a lot of things well, and I think that's what Nathan is. It's like everything he does very well. He does, there isn't anything we look at and go, oh man, he's terrible at this. He always is just very solid at everything we ask him to do.
And do you see him projecting more as an inside guy? Because I've always thought he would be better inside, but he does have the ability to move outside, doesn't he?
I believe so, yeah. I think he can be a guy that plays inside or outside, which is really going to help him out in college because it'll help him get on the field as soon as possible. If there's an opening for competition at inside position, he'll be able to slide in there at guard, and he'll be able to get it done. If there's opening at tackle, he'll be able to slide in at tackle and get it done. So I think that'll help him throughout his career.
Talking with Sean Tarantola, the head coach at Juanita High School, has really resurrected that program, a program that hadn't been to the state playoffs in several years. He's brought them back and really started to produce some top talent out of there. This coming year, it looks like you've got a guy by the name of Darren LaFossa, Corey LaFossa's youngest brother, and there was a middle brother in there as well who walked on at where?
Well, he got a scholarship at Central.
Central, that's right.
Last
okay.
year, yeah.
Yeah, so he's over at Central. So this is a very talented family. Talk about Darren LaFossa, what he brings to the table.
as much as I love Corey and Jeremiah as people and players, I believe Darren has got the most high-end potential to be, as far as being a D1, Division I, Pac-12 football player. He's very physical. He's very light on his feet. He's about 6'1", 220, and he plays very light on his feet. But when it comes between him and somebody else going one-on-one, Darren usually wins that battle in a physical matchup. He's just a real physical player. Unfortunately, last year he broke his foot in June, and he got cleared like August probably 5th. But he was not 100%. He rushed back into it because, he wanted to get after it and have a great season. And him rushing back, he had some flare-ups where he wasn't even close to 100% last year. And I think that he had a great year for us, but he didn't play to his potential last year. And I think this year he's going to be healthy. He's going to be freed up mentally of pressure, and he's just going to get after it. And I think he's going to be a guy that a lot of Pac-12 schools will want on their roster as either a fullback or inside linebacker.
And a guy who really has exploded onto the scene just because of his junior film, Trayon McNary. You and I talked about him a little bit. You sent me his film. I was completely awed by him. First of all, give us what his stats were, and just talk about the game he brings to the table.
Okay, well, officially he had about 11 and a half sacks, but for some reason some people on our staff thought he had 13 and it didn't get properly recorded, so we'll have to go through and figure that out for sure before we get into shortly. So he had about 11 and a half sacks. He ran the ball for us 41 times for over 400 yards, so he averaged over 10 yards a carry. Now, this kid is really funny because if you were to meet Trayon, he's a kid that just kind of, he played in the past. He's just kind of played football because it's fun. I don't think he took it very seriously. He's just like, I want to play football because, it's fun. It's a fun sport to play. And he hasn't played a lot of football. Well, we knew he had potential as an outside linebacker in our defense coming into his junior year. But on offense, we didn't know where to play him in the offseason. We're going, should we play him at guard? Should we play him at tight end? And then we timed his, we tested him, a 40-time eye test, all that stuff, and his numbers were up towards the top of our team. And so we're like, hey, we got to play him at running back. He's never played running back before, so let's just take a look at it. And I'm not joking. Like spring football, summer football, the guy didn't even know how to hold a football. He held it basically, he had his arm wrapped around the football instead of having it pinned to his elbow and chest. And he just is he was a raw player, but by the end of the year, he just made things happen. Just a lot of big plays and a lot of explosiveness. And, he's about 6'1", or maybe 6'5", about 210 pounds, but he runs a legit 4.6, and we just think he's going to have an outstanding senior year as well.
You said that one thing, and we need to wrap it up here in a second here, but you said to me that he did something on defense where he didn't just run around guys with his speed. He went through guys.
Yeah, that's what's most impressive about people that will watch his highlight video. Yeah, on defense, he just coming off the edge. There would be a blocker in his way, and he would just go through the blocker and do something that we call ghosting the guy, where just the blocker doesn't even exist, just get to the football. We talk about it a lot, but he actually does it. He just goes through the blocker to the ball carrier, and he has some highlight hits that are pretty exciting to watch out there. It'll be real fun.
And just to wrap it up, give us one or two more names that we should keep an eye on this fall for.
Man, we're real excited about our senior class. We got guys like Kendrick Murphy in the secondary, Alec Martin, Cody Otterholt, and Harley French, Oscar Fuentes. Those are some skill guys that had a big role for us last year that we expect to have a great breakout senior season. So we have a lot of guys at Juanita that are going to do some big things next year, and we're really looking forward to having an outstanding year.
And I really think we're going to be talking about Darren and Trayon as guys that are going to be looking at Pac-12. If not offers, then at least get some looks from those guys and get at least offers from WAC and Mountain West schools.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great place to be next year.
Okay. Well, hey, Sean, we really appreciate you giving us your time. I know you're busy. You're at a coaching clinic today, so go and have fun with your wife and your daughter and your other half of a daughter that's going to be coming here pretty soon, okay?
All right. Thanks a lot, Scott.
Thanks, Sean. All right. And, Juanita, for those that have a chance to get out to a Juanita Rebels game, you need to get out there because they play a really fun brand of football.